Today we're talking about how to write numbers. Now, there's only two terms that you really need to know, ones value and tens value, until we get into the numbers. Ones value is anything in the very first category, so 0 through 9. The tens value is any value in the second category. So 1 0 would be 10, 2 0 would be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, up through 99. The second column, those are the tens values. Now these are all the numbers, and yes, they are terms you do need to copy down. This should be in your definitions or terms section. Here's how you pronounce them. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And your teens, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Your tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Couple quick things to note. 6 does not have an accent, but in 16, in 16, it does. Here's how to form some numbers in the 20s. Instead of 20, the E changes to an I, 20, and then you stick the ones value right on the end. So 21, 22, in this case 23, this adds an accent. In any number above 30, you're not going to change the ending letter. You're going to keep that tens value and keep the ones value the same, but put an E in the middle. So I wouldn't write tres y cinco. Tres is 3 and cinco is 5. So I'm really saying 3 and 5. I want to say 35, so 30 and 5. Hence 30, 30 y, and cinco, 5. Okay, here are some rules for how to remember some of the numbers and how they're spelled and formed. 1 to 10, you just have to know your numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just practice those, write them down if you need to. 11 through 15, it's like you're taking the ones value and adding se to it. So 11 is like uno, so once. 12 is like saying dos, doce. 13, tres to trece. 14, catorce. And then 15, it just ends in a se, quince, instead of, it's not cinco se. These all start the same way. Dieci. It's the same sound as diez, y, tens value, and your ones, but for spelling purposes, the Z changes to a C and the Y goes to an I, and then you just add the ones value right there. So 16, 17, 18, 19. 20, I say TE for 20 because 20 ends in TE. And then, so TE for 20, TI for more. That's my little saying. Because the E, 20, the E goes to an I, and then you stick your ones value, you smush it right onto the end. So 21 would be 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, and so on and so forth. Remember, for numbers above 30, your formula is tens, so whatever the tens value is, and then E, connected with an E, and then whatever the ones value is. However, if you have an even tens value, like 40 or 70 or 20, you don't have to add E zero, so 20 and 0 or something like that. That's not necessary. So for an example, 39, the tens value is 30, so 30, and then our and then our ones value, 9. 9. Remember, you cannot write 3 y 9 because that's 3 and 9. You're adding two ones values, and you can't do that. 3 plus 9 is 12. Now down here I have a couple numbers I want you to write down. You need to remember that they add accents into their spelling. So 16 has an accent on that E. In 22, 22 has an accent on the O. In 23, 3 has an accent on the E. And in 26, 26 again has an accent on the E. Those are the only numbers up through 100 that have added accents in that are different from their ones values. All right, we're going to work through a couple numbers in practice, and then you've got your application over here. 4. So if you just think through your numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure when you spell it out, there's not a Q there, there's not a K there, and then it goes UA, qua, T-R-O. It's not cuarto, it's not a fourth of something, it's cuatro, the number 4. So check your spelling, that's one that's easily missed. 61. So we have a number in our tens value. So we're going to need a tens and a ones value. So our tens value is 60, not 6. So we're not going to write 6, we're going to write 60. So 61, 60 y and then 1. 1. 18, that's one of our DAC numbers. DAC. And then 8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 18. And that's smushed together into one word. Remember, there's no Z and there's no Y. They change letters. 56, we have another double-digit number. So we need our tens value and then our ones value. Remember, we cannot write 5 y 6. We have to take our tens value, which is 50. So instead of 5, I want 50. Ran out of space. 50 y 6. 50 and 6. And 23. Now this is not above 30, so I'm not going to do that tens y ones. I'm going to take the number 20. 20. Remember, it's TE for 20 and what for more? TI. So that E is actually going to change to an I. And then 1, 2, 3. I'm going to smush that ones value right onto the end. No spaces. Now remember, 22, 23, 26, and 16 they all have those added accents, so we need to go back and add that accent into tres to spell it correctly. Over here are your practice examples. You need to write them as a numeral first and then write them in Spanish. Remember, you cannot write a ones value and a ones value because then you're just adding them together. If it's a double-digit number, it has to be the tens value and ones.